Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I am filming from my bedroom. I'm in my bed right now. Got my new bedspread, love it. And this is my tablet. I'm going to show you some of the work that I do. This is just one of my most recent projects, and so yeah, I want you to check it out. It's about food sovereignty, which is a global peasant movement, just kind of putting people of color into the forefront of our food systems and other marginalized voices, just uplifting them and making them centered in food systems. So I want to show y'all like a couple of clips and see what you think. Just let me know in the comments if you like it or if you learned anything. And this is a working document that I have, and so as I go through it, I'll be explaining some stuff to you too. So let's check it out. This presentation is an introduction to food sovereignty, bringing justice to food systems through environmental education, by Cecile Evans. Hello, I'm Cecile Evans, an agroecologist, permaculture designer, and environmental educator, dedicated to uplifting Black and Brown people through justice-based environmental education. I tend the land of the Wasco, Multnomah, Tualatin, and other tribes that made their homes along the riverbanks of the Columbia River in what is now known as Portland, Oregon. In 2021, I relocated to Ghana, West Africa, to have a reprieve from the racism and prejudice in the United States. It has been such a privilege to feel safe and free and held by Mother Africa. I've spent the last year and a half traveling between the United States and Ghana, documenting, learning, and teaching about the global food sovereignty movement. One of the things that I've learned during my travels is that food insecurity affects all of us. And as the climate continues to worsen, the need for global food sovereignty has become undeniably urgent. The intention of this documentary is to highlight the need to repay, reclaim, and restore land access, stewardship, and ownership among Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and all other marginalized communities worldwide. This presentation will shine a light on the injustices in our current food system and provide you with the opportunity to learn about the global peasant movement, food sovereignty. My hope is you leave this space feeling empowered to create lasting and sustainable change to our current national and global food systems. Food sovereignty is a food system in which the people who produce, distribute, and consume food also control the mechanisms and policies of food production and distribution. This stands in contrast to the present corporate food regime, in which corporations and institutions control the global food system. Food sovereignty emphasizes local food economies, sustainable food availability, and center culturally appropriate foods and practices. Before we can truly discuss food sovereignty, we must have a collective understanding of some universal truths that just can't be argued. We should understand these truths to help combat systemic oppression, institutional racism, and affirm land stewardship and ownership among our most marginalized communities, especially Black and Brown people. The historical lack of equity to spaces that provide nourishing food has systematically denied Black, Indigenous, and people of color from tangible participation in the food systems. Next up, we have a glossary that will support you in creating long-lasting and sustainable change in the current unsustainable and unequitable food system. We need to have a collective understanding of these universal truths to even hope to have a chance at food sovereignty. The truth about something is all the facts about it, instead of things that are invented. Food apartheid looks at the whole food system and takes into account income, race, and geography. It encompasses the social and racial inequalities that are at play in our food system. It recognizes that the systems in place are what make it difficult for people living in low-income areas to access fresh, healthy food. Racial justice addresses the intersections of violence waged against Black, Indigenous, and people of color, physical, political, legal, economic, and environmental. Racial justice also addresses a broken criminal justice system, massive disparities in the availability of financial services, health, environmental, and educational disparities. Environmental justice affirms the sacredness of Mother Earth, ecological unity, and the interdependence of all species, and the right to be free from ecological destruction by protecting Black, Indigenous, people of color, and other marginalized communities who are hit first and worst by the causes and impacts of climate change. Oh, and if I wasn't clear, I'm doing all of the things, which is like super exciting for me, from the editing to the content idea to the acting, the script creation, so. And the voiceover, y'all, thank you for your, so many times your kind words about my voice. I've always loved it too, so it's, whatever, it's nice to be validated. Okay, so what do you think so far? It's starting to get hot, so I have my air conditioning on, the mini split, so don't be all mad that it sounds weird. Sorry. Anyway, that's the start of the glossary. There's maybe 8 more words or phrases that I explain the same way. And now let's check out some more stuff. This is some things that I taught myself on an app called Canva. And you can just make moving graphics and stuff like that. It's free. So anyway, I really highly recommend it to anyone who is interested in learning about making video documentaries or really impactful presentations or anything like that. I like it. It's called Canva. They have a lot of like stock images, and it's really cool. A lot of templates. I bet you a lot of your favorite YouTubers are using Canva for their thumbnails and like their any images that they're using. They're probably using Canva. Anyway, next. Food sovereignty requires honest conversations about uncomfortable topics. Topics like Indigenous sovereignty and Black liberation. These next 2 videos will deepen our understanding of why Black and Indigenous people deserve food sovereignty. Now that we have a collective understanding of a few reasons why food sovereignty is so important, we are ready to learn about the 6 pillars of food sovereignty. There are 6 main pillars of food sovereignty: focusing on food for people, valuing food providers, localized food systems, putting control locally, building knowledge and skills, knowing that food is sacred, and working with nature. Focusing on food for people. The first question we must answer is, who deserves food sovereignty? All individuals, peoples, and communities, centering those who are hungry and marginalized, deserve access to healthy and culturally appropriate food. By staying informed on policy change, we can feel empowered to make choices that prevent injustices against people, animals, and the environment. Food security or food sovereignty? What's the difference? So food security focuses on people's ability to access adequate food. It understands food as a traded commodity and hunger as a result of insufficient production and lack of access. Okay, so this was actually one of the hardest things to make. It's a lot longer than this. I'm not going to show you all of it because it's my creative content and I don't want it all up out on these streets. I'm just trying to show y'all a little something something. This documentary is actually 1 hour and 3 minutes. So I'm going to show you maybe like 1/10 of it. So anyway. So now what do you think? Tell me I love it. Food sovereignty highlights the needs for a democratic food system, one that involves inputs from citizens as well as producers. On the other hand, food security is concerned with the protection and distribution of existing food systems. Advancing food policy is about more than food availability and nutritional capabilities. Does it matter if your food is non-GMO or sustainably packaged? if someone was still harmed in its production or distribution. Food sovereignty is the right of peoples to healthy and culturally appropriate food, produced through ecologically sound and sustainable methods, and their right to define their own food and agriculture systems. It puts the aspirations and needs of those who produce, distribute, and consume food at the heart of food systems and policies, rather than the demands of markets and corporations. Declaration of Nilini, the Global Forum on Food Sovereignty, Mali, 2007. There are many ways to start participating in the food sovereignty movement. Acknowledge a whole food system honoring race, geography, faith, and economics. Consider the social inequalities in the food systems. Celebrate victories that envision food liberation for all. Look who's graced us with his presence.
Hello. Yes. I was relaxing in the other room.
Yes, Muffy. Anyway, so what did y'all think? We just watched a lot of this video. Toby, you've already seen it.
Loved it.
Yes. So anyway, that's one of the things that I've been doing for all of October, actually. Has been making this hour-long documentary so that I could then present it in front of 150 people. After we watched the video, we had a presentation that was like a slideshow that I put together about local food providers in Portland, because that's where I was presenting. And then after that, I did a Q&A so they could, ask me any questions that they had. And so that's one of the things I do. You can see in the video it says decolonize with Cecile, and that's who I do it through. That's my, decolonized environmental education company, you can call it, business. So anyway, don't forget, like,
Share.
and subscribe.
Bye.
See you next week.